everyone, welcome back to a new video. So it's the start of a new week, and if you're new here, I'm Gemma, and me and my fiance James run a vintage clothing reselling business. So as I said, it's the start of a new week, so I'm just about to pack up an order that we actually got yesterday. So one of our items that we've been had up for quite a while, one of our first items, it was a vintage workwear jacket. Managed to sell that. Always wondered why that one took a little while to sell, because we've actually had 3 workwear jackets. The other 2 were had paint and everything on them, so those sold really quickly, and for some reason the one that's perfect, really great condition, got nothing wrong with it, that's actually taken quite a little while to sell, but eventually sold, so that's great. So I do think it's probably because it's now coming into the autumn weather and things like that, so people are looking more for jackets and things like that for the warmer weather. So yeah, so we're just about to pack that up, and then this week we're going to be potentially looking at a little bit of how we're planning on pricing our new stock items. So I mentioned in previous videos that we have ordered a load of new vintage luxury stock, so things like wallets, bags and things like that. So this week I think we're going to try and spend a little bit of time figuring out what we're going to price those things at. So we're going to start off with a kind of rough price, and then obviously when we get the items and see them in hand and things and really see the condition of them, we might need to tweak it a little bit. And then probably looking at a few things that we're probably going to relist on Depop and Vinted. So that's something that we do quite a bit to kind of just boost our Vinted and Depop store, is that things that have been listed for quite a while and they've maybe went a bit stagnant, we sort of look at the pictures and things, we tweak the name, the photos and stuff like that, and then relist them to try and boost them a little bit and get the things sold. We're just going to take you along with what we got up to this week, and yeah, I'm going to go and grab that workwear jacket that we managed to sell yesterday. So this is the jacket that we are sending off just now. So as I said, it's a vintage workwear kind of style jacket. So the brand is Red Cap, and it's quite cool. So it's got this logo, Mr. Appliance, which is obviously from the company that got the jackets made. That's sort of from there. So it's kind of like a navy blue, sort of quite thick canvas jacket, and it's really nice inside because it's actually, if you can see there, it's quilted, so it's kind of got that quilted, so it's nice and thick, especially for autumn and winter. So we've actually just sold another item just now, which is great. So it's a pair of vintage Adidas tracksuit bottoms with this kind of red and white stripe detail. So there's Chester walking past in the background. So yeah, just about to package those up along with the jacket, and we'll get those taken down to the post office. Hi everyone, so it's a couple of days later since we last caught up with you. We're actually just about to head out into town and also to post another item that we've managed to sell. So James has just finished printing off the label for our piece that we've sold. So I'll just kind of quickly show you what we've sold, and then kind of take you along on what we got up to with the rest of our day as well. Yeah. So this is the item that we've just sold just now on Depop. So it's actually a vintage Nike track jacket, and this is another example of one of the pieces that we've sold, which I thought would be quite tricky to sell because it actually doesn't zip up properly. So it's zipped up, but the zip keeps on splitting. But we've kind of found out that as long as you put in the description any sort of flaws or imperfections or anything, people, and obviously reflect it in the price. So we're just back from running a few errands and going for lunch and things, like which we've seen in just the previous clips that I just showed just now. So I'm actually about to have a go at using our new sewing machine. So if you've seen our last video, you would have seen that we decided to invest in a sewing machine. So this is going to be for when we start to kind of repurpose, say, vintage fabrics and things like that, or even vintage pieces of clothing that are kind of past being able to sell on, and hopefully make them into new products, so new pieces of clothing, or even little things like posters, bookmarks, maybe even like iPad pockets, things like that. That's kind of what we've got in mind. So I'm actually about to just do a little small project of taking up the hem on a pair of trousers that I've got. So I've actually been quite proud of myself because it's been quite a few years since I've used a sewing machine, and a few days ago managed to get it all, when we first of all got it all set up, got the bobbin all done, managed to thread it, had a few little bits of practice just with some scraps of fabric. So this will be actually the first thing, like proper bit of sewing that I'm going to be doing. So that shouldn't actually take that long. I forget how quick it is to actually use a sewing machine for projects. So get that done. And then my first little project that I'm going to do is I'm actually going to try and make myself a pair of small or light kind of pajama shorts. And so yeah, using like an old shirt that James has, but it's got some really, it's made of a really nice floral, dark floral fabric. So yeah, so that's the plan. So that's the first project done. I've hemmed my trousers. Only slight negative is that I only had kind of black thread. That was like the closest colour that I had to these like sort of brown trousers, but pretty easy. Managed to remember how to kind of to do it and stuff, and I'm actually quite chuffed actually with them. So you can kind of see that they're just, I just kind of brought them up. You can see the thread, kind of the black thread down there, but it means I can actually wear them now, so they're not like going underneath my heel at the back. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to have a little go at making the shorts that I mentioned earlier out of one of James's old shirts. So this is the shirt that I'm going to be using to make the shorts. Got Chester coming in for a little peek. So as you can see, it's mainly like black, and it's got these really nice kind of pink, pale pink kind of roses and stuff on it. So I thought that would be really nice to make a pair of shorts, like kind of pajama shorts. And I'm thinking, depending on how long it takes me, I might also add a little lace trim around the edge. Also just remember that I didn't share how I got on sewing the shorts that I started the other day when I was kind of experimenting with the sewing machine. So I'll just quickly grab those, if I can remember where I put them, and show you how they ended up. So this is how the shorts ended up. As you can see, that used to be a black floral print shirt. You'll have seen that in the clips before, how it kind of started. So the trickiest bit I think was actually doing the waistband, because there's elastic in that waistband, and I think I've actually done quite a good job. You can see that it's meant to be obviously gathered a little bit, and I was trying to remember how to actually sew a waistband from when I used to do sewing before. So I figured it out, that you just basically pull it tight, and that made it so much easier. Only thing I would do differently is, I think when I did these shorts, I'm pretty sure the back piece is meant to be, like, it's not obvious on these ones which is the front and which is the back. So I think the back piece of the shorts is meant to be a little bit longer and things than the front, but that's just something that I can do the next time that I have another try at doing them. But overall, very happy with how they've turned out. It took me a little while to figure out how to sew the crotch together as well, but yeah, really happy with how they turned out. You can actually see up here where I've ripped the fabric a little bit, because I did have to unpick it and then redo the waistband, so it's not as neat, but obviously this was just a little practice go. Hi again, so it's a couple of days since we last caught up with you. We're actually just back from picking up some food, popped into Stockbridge and decided to get some bits of food shopping and things like that. So we're still waiting on our new stock arriving. So it's actually Saturday today, and we thought we would have gotten it yesterday, Friday. That's kind of what the tracking said. However, we're still waiting on it, so we're really kind of hoping to kind of even just give you a little bit of sneak peek of some of the new stock in this video, but I don't think that's going to happen. It's probably going to be the next video before we can share any of it. But what we thought we would do is kind of talk through the different selling platforms that we've tried out, and just kind of give you a rough sort of overview of what we've thought of them so far, which ones we've stuck with and which ones we decided to leave for just now. So the first platform that we actually started off with was Vinted, wasn't it? That was the kind of first one that we decided to list on, and that's actually the one that we found the success on first. So yeah, it took a little while, didn't it? It took a couple of weeks, I would say.
Yeah, but once we started getting the hang of it, it was the reviews that I think really helped us.
Yeah. So I think I've mentioned in a previous video what we did is we actually sold some of our own clothes that weren't vintage, just sort of some second-hand things that we were wanting rid of, and that got us our first few positive reviews, didn't it? Which I think really helps when people are looking at your things because they can see that you're a trusted seller. Yeah.
Also, we didn't package our stuff in crisp packets.
Yes, that did. I know. I don't know if people have seen like things like getting sent in like bread bags and things like that. So we've got like sort of normal just package, like what they're called packing bags.
Basically, yeah.
Parcel bags. So yeah. So definitely Vinted, great. One of some of the positives I feel about Vinted as well is that there's no seller fees. So when you sell something, you keep obviously the whole profit, and obviously the person who's buying it, they pay for the postage. So and then as well, another thing that I quite like about Vinted is once the sale goes through and everything's good, you can just withdraw your money right away because that's what you normally do, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah. 2-3 days to clear, and you can just basically, it sits in your account, or you can actually use it to buy things on there if you want, or to withdraw straight to the account, bank account.
So yeah, Vintage really nice and easy, and obviously another thing I like about it as well is that there's a lot of different postage options. So we're quite lucky where we live. We live near a post office, and then we also have the in-post lockers nearby, and we also have places to drop off any Yodel parcels. So we can basically turn on all the options for postage so that people can basically pick any of them. So I really like that you're not limited to what postage options you can choose. So the next platform that we actually started off using a little bit of Depop. This is the next platform we're talking about, but then we kind of came away from it, didn't we, for a little bit, because we didn't feel like we're not really getting seen. But then we did list everything on Depop as well as Vinted, and very similar. No selling fees.
Yeah, but I do want to point out that I think the reason we weren't selling is because we weren't using their boost option, which is then so you don't pay for it directly there, but they take a percentage of the sale basically. Yeah. And it's obviously how their algorithm works, etc. Yeah. They basically put it in place to say, oh yeah, you're not gonna pay any fees, but basically if you don't pay fees, your stuff probably won't really get that much visibility. Whereas if you boost it, you're looking at about 7,000 hits per post.
Yeah. So that's the only thing. And on Depop, you don't see how many people have viewed your item unless you boost it. So you've no idea if your item is even getting seen or if it's doing well in search or anything like that. So that's the sort of negative I'd say about Depop. I feel like that's a little bit unfair.
Also, Vinted do something like that where you can pay like £1.50, £2.50 for promotion for like 3 to 7 days, and we've tried it, but it doesn't really do anything, to be honest.
I wouldn't say it's worth it.
I would say it's a waste of money personally.
Yeah. So still talking about Depop, I actually feel like how you manage, say, sending offers to people that have favourited your item, and even sending messages and things, it's not as easy as Vinted is. As with Vinted, it's really easy to keep track of who you sent offers to, if you've already sent them an offer and things like that. Whereas Depop, once you sent an offer, sometimes the little notification that says if somebody's favourited something disappears, so then you end up accidentally sending an offer more than once, which I don't like doing because obviously you don't want to pester people. So yeah, their app isn't as neat, I don't think. It's a little bit messy, I'd say, compared to Vinted, but it's still really good. You can still message people, you can still send offers, and I think postage wise,
everything's done via Every.
Oh right, okay, because I don't really pay attention to Depop for the postage. I couldn't really remember what their postage.
I'm the one that prints all the labels,
you're the one that,
I know where everything's going.
Yeah. But one thing they do, which is nice though, is that you can sell internationally on Depop. That's true. If there's people, say in Europe or whatever, that want to buy something, there's that option. So that's a really big positive, I would say.
Yeah, I would say, I feel like Depop's more shops. I mean, a lot of people sell on there, but it's unlike Vinted. A lot of people, if you put up a price or something, people will be like, yeah, okay, I expect to pay that. I've heard Vinted being compared to as like almost like a car boot sale. Whereas I've heard Depop being more for like independent shops and shops, etc. And people won't really haggle as much. Whereas on Vinted, people will literally like, I mean, you put something up for £100 and someone will be like, I'll give you 40 quid for it.
Yeah.
Like,
a lot of lowball offers on Vinted.
And you're like, we're a shop, we're not. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So the other platform that we tried out, which we, Etsy.
Ugh, yucky.
So, we, again with Etsy, I feel like, I suppose the positives with Etsy is that because it's vintage pieces, people expect to pay the prices you put them up for. That's the positive. Like, there was no people trying to lowball, people trying to haggle or anything like that. I think on Etsy you do get people who appreciate vintage items. However, all the other negatives completely outweigh that positive. So Etsy, I think their biggest negative I would probably say is their fees. So you have to pay a fee to set up the shop. You have to pay a fee to obviously list your items, and then when you sell your item, there's fees that you have to pay. And then if your item sells through using their sort of ads, you then have to pay that as well, or a percentage of that as well. So for example, for us, we sold 2 items a while back, 2 vintage jackets, and after all the fees had come off, and obviously one of the items was sold through an Etsy ad, which you don't, I think you can opt out, but you have to opt out if you earn under a certain amount, so you're kind of, but then obviously it does help sell things. But anyway, so we'd sold that and it had been found through an Etsy ad, and after all the fees had come off, it basically meant it was like we'd only sold 1 jacket, so that's how much money we made after all the fees. So not worth that at all. And I think after that we decided to put our shop onto like holiday mode just now, just to kind of, you know, and decide what we're going to do with it. So it's still there, but it's on holiday mode, you can't see anything. Again, postage wise, I think there's quite a few options postage wise, but it's not as smooth as like Vinted and Depop and things. It can be quite clunky again, like their website's quite clunky. And but another positive I would say with Etsy is that we were able to sell things again internationally. So I think all the things that we sold, I don't actually think we sold, I think we sold 1 thing in the UK.
Yeah.
And everything else has been to either Canada or Sweden.
Yeah.
So that's good. But I have to say the negative with the fees, no.
I mean, it's all good selling to foreign lands and stuff.
Yeah.
But when a company literally rips you off to the point where you don't even make any money.
Yeah.
What's the point?
Yeah.
Like Etsy, you need to fix yourself and appreciate that people out there, you know, are working hard and stuff. And you're basically like HMRC. No one likes you.
So another platform that we did try, but we kind of stopped for a little bit because I think we felt like it was just a bit much.
Yeah, I feel like I should do it. I bought it off eBay. Tell me why.
Is that an ad there?
No, it was a song.
Oh, was it?
When I was a kid, it was like a rendition of that song.
Oh, right.
Like, yeah, and it was funny.
Oh, it's the first time you're hearing of that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we did try eBay right at the very beginning, but we felt like that, along with Vinted, Depop, Etsy, it was just a little bit much. So we haven't sold anything from eBay. I actually think our listings are probably expired now anyway, but found that I think the only negative with eBay is the listing process. It takes quite a while to list an item. There's a lot of boxes you have to tick, a lot of things that you have to fill in. But again, I think since we're quite used to now doing Vinted and Depop, I think we can maybe go back and have another look at eBay, especially with getting our new stock. So I think that's
also eBay is the OG.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know, they're the guys that created it.
Yeah, so they were the first kind of selling, you know, second-hand vintage things, I would say, online, or one of the first anyway. So I definitely want to give eBay another go. And as far as I know, there's no selling fees. I don't think there are. Yeah, and on eBay you can boost items as well, similar to Depop. So I think that might be worth doing actually.
Like, what I do like as well is that you get the reach from the international market still. So like you will sell to America a lot and stuff like that, which is really cool.
Yeah. So definitely going to give eBay another go. So that's going to wrap up this week's video. So hopefully next week we'll actually be able to share our new stock when we get it. It'll either be a little sneak peek or it'll be the full, maybe like a little bit of a sort of unboxing kind of video just to show you what we've got in before we list it. So fingers crossed we'll have that for next week. So if you found this video useful, make sure and subscribe and click the notification bell as well. And we'll see you in our next video. Bye!
Bonjour!
Bye. That's the wrong thing.
That was the whole point.